Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman coming to you from our studios at the Capital Region International Airport. And staying in town right now, we're going to stay basically on the campus of Michigan State University. Pete Martin joins us. He's the Director of Portfolio Management at the MSU Research Foundation. Pete, welcome to the show, and I think a fitting way to start out. Tell us what the MSU Research Foundation is.
It's a pleasure to be here, Chris. The MSU Research Foundation has been around for about 50 years. Started back in the early 70s, and it's an organization that exists to expand innovation both within MSU and all across the state of Michigan. So started with an early chemotherapy drug called cisplatin that returned hundreds of millions of dollars to the foundation. That's turned into over a $500 million endowment, $300 or $400 million that we've returned to MSU proper. And now we've been investing in startups for the last, about 10 years. And that's accelerated over the last 5 years. We are now the most active investor in Michigan. We're actually the number one and number two most active investors in Michigan through our subsidiaries with Red Cedar Ventures and Michigan Rise.
Well, I'll tell you what you guys have done a phenomenal business here in not just economic gardening for the area, but startups. You're planting seeds. So let's talk a little bit about one of the many things you do, the Pitch Michigan or PitchMI, now one of the nation's richest state-based startup competitions, $4 million in investment. Tell me about that.
Yes, sir. So this was just announced. We received $3 million from the state of Michigan. The MSU Research Foundation's putting in additional capital. So we are going to be investing $4 million in startups between now and the end of 2026. We're going to do that through a series of pitch competitions. We have some that are starting at the end of September. September 29th is the first one in Grand Rapids. So we'll do 4 pitch competitions over 1 week. Though each pitch competition is going to be focused on an industry theme. So Grand Rapids is healthcare and life science. And then we'll go to Traverse City for outdoor innovation and clean tech. Then we're going to Detroit for mobility, advanced manufacturing, and defense. And we're going to end in Ann Arbor with software and AI. What that does is it allows us to, well, it does lots of things, but it allows us to focus on all of these areas that Michigan is actually really great at. We have competitive strengths in all of these areas. And these regional pitch competitions are open to startups all across the state of Michigan. They're going to have a $250,000 prize a piece. So each of them is we're going to invest $250,000 in the winners of those pitch competitions. And then we're going to bring back those winners 6 months later, and they're going to compete against each other for a $1 million prize. There's lots that we can get into the reasonings behind that. But the grand champion of this is going to get $1.25 million. And then we're going to turn around and do it again. We're doing it again next summer, and we'll do another championship in what looks like December of next year.
I think this is kind of an obvious answer for you, but I'm throwing you a softball here so you can brag a little more. This expanded competition, how does it elevate Michigan's position as a leader in startups?
It makes me really happy to be able to say that Michigan startups raised more venture capital than any other state in the Midwest last year. That's a real stat that came out from Carta a few months ago, and I don't think enough people know about it. So we can tell everybody now. This pitch competition is a way for us to shine a spotlight on the great things that have already been happening here. We're not trying to create anything new. We're just amplifying the great companies, the great founders, the great people that are already building here. I think when the region and when the country sees these great companies that are going to win, that are going to all companies that are pitching are going to be phenomenal companies. The folks that win are just going to be exceptional. And I think what that's going to do is draw a lot more attention to the state, a lot more attention to the companies that are being built here. We'll get more investment into the state. It's going to be a really big win.
Well, it's kind of crazy. Would you explain a little bit to you're investing in startups? So are you saying people with ideas who want to go forward with a business? Are you saying someone who's already made their first dollar, et cetera?
What we're looking for are early stage startups. So with the requirements for the pitch competition are you must be headquartered in the state by the end of the application period. And by all means, if you want to move to Michigan and build your company here, do it. Move here. The water's warm. You can come in. You also must be formed within the last 5 years. So you have to be 5 years old the company must be 5 years old or less. You must have raised $2.5 million in dilutive funding or less, and you must have earned $1.5 million in revenue or less. Those are kind of the hard limits on the pitch competition. 1.5 million over the last 12 months. And so we're looking for early stage companies. It doesn't mean that that you won't have raised any money. It doesn't mean that you don't have any revenue. If you do have some of that, that's great. But we're also really open to companies that have bootstrapped. We're open to companies that have significant momentum that don't have revenue. What we're trying to find are some of the early great companies that are being built in this state that we can elevate, put fuel behind, and they can have rapid success.
Well, it's pretty amazing what is happening, and your early success was one, but I'm going to suggest that you're going to have several more coming up because there's some great ideas and some great companies on the ground floor right now. Congratulations on the work you're doing, buddy. And Pete Martin, Director of Portfolio Management at the MSU Research Foundation in East Lansing, Michigan. Thanks so much for joining us, buddy, and say hi to everybody in the office.
Thank you, Chris. I will do.
All right. You're watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network. I'm Chris Holman, and we'll be back with more.